Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Sheila. Today we are going to be working on a project that has been having the most requests in my DM, and that's for a high-waisted shirt, well-fitted shirt. So as you saw at the beginning of the video, that's the shirt that we're going to be working on, and the materials you need are any yarn. I'll be using this yarn, Robin 100% acrylic, and I'll be doubling my strand. I'll be using 2 at a go, and then I'll be using a 4mm crochet hook, focus, 4mm, and then I'll be using a measuring tape to take some measurements, and a pair of scissors, of course. So let's get started. Okay, so we're going to start off with a measurement, which is the widest point of your hips. So my widest is around 38 to 39, so I'll use 39 because I'm in between here. So you're going to make a chain that stretches to this measurement, a chain that stretches to your widest part of your hips. So for me, that's 39. That's the measurement I'll be using. So I'm going to make a slip knot, then I'll start chaining. A chain is yarn over, then pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. So you're going to make a chain that stretches to that measurement. I'm going to be letting you know how many chains that I made for mine. So I did a total of 120 chains, and this stretches perfectly to my hip measurement, which is 38. Let me hold this. 38 to 39. So I use 39, and it should be able to stretch across. So I'm holding this and I'm stretching across. So you can see those are the chains that I needed, 120. So go ahead and do what suits the measurement of the shirt that you're making. And now we're going to make sure that our chain is not twisted. And then we're going to go into the very first chain that we did with a double crochet, with a slip stitch. So we've created a ring, and this ring should be able to pass through your hips. You can even try it on right now. Put it through your legs and try to pass it through your hips. So after a slip stitch, you're going to chain up 2 and go into the very first chain that we did with a double crochet. So we're going into the very first chain because the chain 2 doesn't count as a stitch, and we're going to go all the way around, placing 1 double crochet in each and every chain. So work 1 double crochet in each and every chain all the way around, and then I'll meet you when you're at this point here at the end of the round. So we're going to start working in rounds. Every other round we are no longer working in rows. So I'm coming to the end of my row, and I'm placing my very last double crochet of this round. And now you're going to slip stitch into the very first double crochet that you made, since this chain 2 didn't count as a stitch. So you make a slip stitch there, then chain up 2, which doesn't count as a stitch, and then go into the very first stitch with a double crochet, but placing it only in the back loop. So there are two loops here. There's this front one and then the back one. You're going into the back loop with a double crochet. So continue to work one double crochet in the back loop only. This will help us create these ridges, the textured look at the outside part of our shirt. And we are going to go all the way around, and this is the row that we are going to keep repeating. You're going to go all the way around until you get to this point, and when you get here you will slip stitch into the very first double crochet that you made, and then chain up 2, which doesn't count as a stitch, and do the same exact thing that we did when we were starting this row. So I'll be going all the way around for several rounds, and then I'll be letting you know how many that I did, and then we shall do something different from that point onwards. So you can see this, that's what we want for our shirt. That's the texture we are creating for our shirt. So that's the reason why we are working in the back loop only. We are not doing the normal double crochet, but we are going only into the back loop all the way around. So continue to make these rounds, and then I'll be letting you know how many I did for mine. I believe 14 for a small, 15 to 16 for a medium, then 17 to 18 for a large. So I'll be letting you know how many I did. Okay, so I went ahead to do a total of 14 rows, 14 rounds of double crochets, back loop only, don't forget that. And I would advise, if you need more coverage, this would fit a size medium. It really basically depends on your tension, because some people's stitches are shorter than this, some people's stitches are longer. So I did a total of 14 rows, and that measures, let me see, 20 centimeters when it isn't stretched, and when stretched it goes up to around 23. So you have to make sure you don't make this so long, otherwise it will end up sagging around your waist area when you sit. So after this, after my very last slip stitch, you're going to identify the middle of your work on the other side. So we have this point, and you have to identify the exact middle here, and place a stitch marker. And now I'm going to do that string that joins from here to the other side, and that string is going to split the legs. So right now I told you that this stretches to around 23 centimeters. Let me see, around 9 inches. So when stretched it goes to around 9 inches. So I usually do a chain that adds this up to around 13 inches. This is because the round fly, okay, let me first do this and then I explain it to you. So after this slip stitch, you're going to chain a chain of 4 inches, a chain that makes it to 4 inches, and then multiply it by 2 and then attach it to the other side. So right now I've done a chain of 15 and this stretches to 4 inches. You can see that, because here we had 9, this stretched to 9 inches, and then this stretches to 4 inches, sorry, which is a total of 13, a total of 13 inches. So After my 15 chains, I'm going to multiply this by 2 to make a total of 30 chains. So this is 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. I'm going to be explaining why I'm doing this. After your 30 chains, you're going to go into this, the stitch that you marked, and then make a slip stitch there. So the reason why I've done this is to create a round fly. A round fly is where your short starts from, like above your belly button, where you want it to start from. So if it's below your belly button, then that's up to you. So up here, down to in between your legs, then up to the behind where you want your shirt to stop. So if you want low cut, this will definitely change. It won't be this long. So I usually do a total of 26 for a medium size. So let me show you this. This should stretch to 13 inches from up here up to down, because we are multiplying it by 2. We also have a back side, so that's a total of 26 inches. So for a small size, I usually do around 25 inches. Then excess, I usually do around 24 inches. So this is 26, this is for a medium. Then a large will get around 27 to 28. Then XL might get to even 30 inches. So that's my explanation for making a round fly. So after this, after you attach your yarn here with a slip stitch, we are now going to start working on our very first leg. You can see that chain. We are going to chain up 2, which doesn't count as a stitch, and then go into that very space with a double crochet. And then now we're going to start working back loop only, double crochets all the way around. So this is the very first row of the leg. So you're going to go all the way around, and then when you get to this chain, you place 1 double crochet in each and every chain until you get to here, and then you'll slip stitch on top of the very first double crochet that we made, since the chain 2 doesn't count as a stitch. So do that, and then I'll see you when you're done with that. So now that we have our 5 rows, 1 2 3 4 5, we've made 5 rows on this leg. We're going to chain up 1. After a slip stitch, you're going to chain up 1 and then place 1 single crochet in that very stitch there, and then you're going to chain up 5, skip 2 stitches, and into the third you're going to place 1 single crochet. So we are creating these loops. Chain 5, skip 2 stitches, and into the third place a single crochet. Chain 5, skip 2, into the third place a single crochet. Chain 5, skip 2, single crochet in the third. So we're going to go all the way around doing this same exact thing, and I'll meet you guys when I'm at this point. So I've gone all the way around creating chain 5 loops, you can see that, and now I've created my very last chain 5, and I'll go into, I have 3 stitches left, and I'm going to just skip over all of them, and I'm going to go into the very first single crochet and make a slip stitch there, and then I'm going to slip stitch into this loop 2 times and then make a single crochet. Then I'm going to chain up 5, single crochet in this loop, and now we are going to start creating the shells. So go into the next loop with a total of 7 double crochets. So after your 7 double crochets, you're going to single crochet in the next loop, then chain up 5 and single crochet in the next loop, then go into the next loop with a total of 7 double crochets. So that's the repeat for this round. So after your 7 double crochets here, single crochet in the next loop, chain up 5, single crochet in the next loop. So it's a shell, then a loop, then a shell, then a loop. So we are going to go all the way around, repeating that same exact thing. After the loop, you just go into the next loop with a total of 7 double crochets. And after this, you're going to go into the next loop with a single crochet, sorry. So you're going to go all the way around creating these shells, and then I'll meet you guys when we're at the beginning of this round. So here we are. I created my very last shell, and I'll go into the very first single crochet that we made for this round with a slip stitch. And this is how your work should look like. And now we are going to the next round. You're going to slip stitch twice in this loop, then you're going to chain up 1 and single crochet in that very loop. So the reason why we are doing this is to move into the middle section of this loop. So after this, you're going to chain up 1 and go into the very first double crochet of the 7 double crochets, chain 1, go into the next double crochet, chain 1, go into the next double crochet. So we want a total of 7 double crochets since we had 7 stitches down here. So chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. So you should have a total of 7. So this is 1. This is not our stitch, this is from the chain from the previous row. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. And the moment you have that, you're going to chain up 1 and single crochet in the next loop. So that's all we're doing for this row. So after this, chain 1 and then go back to the shell and continue to place 1 double crochet in each and every double crochet below, but with a chain 1 space in between. So every time you do a double crochet, you chain 1. And that's all we're going to do for this row. The moment you get to 7 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you're going to chain up 1 and go into that loop that we created in between the shells and place a single crochet. Then chain 1 and then jump into the next shell. So this is the repeat for this round. You're going to go all the way around doing this same exact thing, and then I'll meet you guys when we are doing the very final round of the shells. Alright, so here we are coming to the end of our round, and I've placed my very last double crochet of the shell, of the last shell. After this, you're going to chain up 1 like we've been doing, and then go into that single crochet of the beginning of the round and place a slip stitch. So this is how everything looks like at this moment. And now we're going to start doing those spikes in each and every space. So go into this space, the first space, with 1 single crochet, chain up 4, slip stitch at the base of the single crochet, and then do one more single crochet there. So that's how to create these spikes. So single crochet in the next space, chain 4, slip stitch at the base of that single crochet, and then single crochet again in that same space. So that's the repeat for this row. That's all you're going to do. You go into each and every space with one single crochet, a spike, and a single crochet. And this is how your work will look like. You're going to go all the way around doing this. I'm running out of yarn right now, but I'll get back to you guys when I have my round finished, and that will mark the end of this leg. And for the next part of this video, I'll be showing you how to attach the second leg and doing the same exact thing that we did on this side. So you're going to complete this, and then we shall move on to the next leg. Alright, so we finished our first leg completely. So now that we've done that, and we've done the shells at the base, we are going to attach our yarn to this other side, and we are going to do the same exact thing. So you're going to grab your hook, make a slip knot, and then attach your yarn on this other side at any point. I'll be attaching mine here in this very center at the back side, and I'll make a slip knot to attach my yarn. Then I'm going to chain up 2, which doesn't count as a stitch, then go into each and every double crochet with 1 double crochet, but working only in the back loops as we've been doing for the body of the shirt. This helps us to keep the ribbed effect. Sorry, not the ribbed effect, but these textures, we have to make sure we maintain them. So continue to work in the back loop only. Let me show you how that looks like. You can see it's creating that line which we want to maintain from up to down, like for the very first leg. So we are working only in the back loop, and we are going to go all the way around this row, placing 1 double crochet in each double crochet below, but only in the back loop. Okay, so I'm still going all the way around, and when I get to this middle section, the crotch area, this, we are going to when you get to this point, you're going to go into the middle of the stitches, in between each and every stitch. So in the middle of this and this, I'll go into that space. That prevents us from having holes in the middle of our shirt. So I'm just going in between the stitches for just this part and for just this row, because we don't have stitches up here. So that's what I'm going to do. And then for the second row, you're going to do just the back loops only, because we'll have created stitches now at this point. So continue to work 1 double crochet in between all the stitches, So I wanted to show you the first row of the second leg so that you know what to do, and then after that I'll leave you to continue and finish up. Remember, when you come to the end of the row, we are not placing our slip stitch in this chain. We are going into the very first double crochet that we made with a slip stitch, because the first chain 2 does not count as a stitch. So this is what you should have. You can see we've not created holes here in the middle, so you're going to go ahead and do, we did a total of 5 rows on this side, so this is our very first one on this side. You're going to go ahead and do 4 more rows, 4 more rounds of double crochets, back loop only, without turning. Make sure you don't turn, because we want to maintain this same exact thing that's going on for the body of the shirt. So you'll just chain up 2 which doesn't count as a stitch, and then go in the back loop only of the very first stitch and continue to work 1 double crochet, back loop only for each and every stitch. So you're going to go ahead and do 4 more rounds, and then you go to the shells. You're going to rewind the video and then you'll see how to make the shells, and then I'll meet you guys back when I have that ready. So at the end of the second leg, this is what you should have. You should have shells on both sides. So we just mirrored what we did on this side onto this side. So this is what we came up with, and this is how our shirt looks like. You should notice that right now it's still big here, but we are going to put a drawstring. So you're going to identify the front side and the back side. So you know that the back side is the side that has the seam line. It's almost invisible, but it's there, you can see it. And then this is the front side. So for the shirts in the photo, in the thumbnail, I put the drawstrings at the back side so that they don't appear at the front of our shirts. So I'm going to go to the back side and then go in and out of every 2 stitches. You're going to make a very long chain, and then you go in and out of every 2 stitches. So in and out of every 2 stitches, and I'm going to do that all the way around. This is going to help us get a better fitting for our shirt in the waist, because most people have small waists and wider hips. So since we did the shirt to we based on our hip measurement to make the first chain, that means when it reaches up in your waist it will be a bit bigger. So that's the use of this string. So you can do it any way you want. If you want one stitch, you can go ahead and do that, but I prefer 2. And this shirt doesn't have a waistband really. We're just going into the very first row that we made. That's the row that we are using to put the drawstring. And then I think I'll be making for you one video that doesn't need a drawstring in the future. I'm still figuring out how to achieve it to have a better fitting. So let's continue doing this until we get to the beginning of the drawstring. So we've made it all the way back, and you can see that now we can pull this drawstring so that we get a better fitting for our shirt around the waist area. But then at the same time, as much as you may have a small waist and big hips, this shirt is going to account for that, because you can see it's wider down around the hip area but smaller up in the waist. And this is how the front side looks like now. I'm sure I've pulled it so much, but you can pull it to your desired size. And now this is the final look of our shirt. And I think we've come to the end of this tutorial. I hope you guys really liked this tutorial, and I can't wait to see what you come up with this shirt tutorial. And make sure to give a thumbs up to this video, and comment something that you didn't understand from this. I'll be able to answer. And make sure to like and subscribe, please. Thanks guys for watching. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.